Hi, and welcome to my 50 Christmas Crafts in 50 Days series for 2019. I'm Sarah, and I'll be showing you a different Christmas craft each and every day for the next 50 days, and I hope you'll be back for all of them because we will be having a lot of fun this year. Today, I'm making these gorgeous buffalo plaid Christmas trees. You can add lights, as I have, or you can leave them unlit. If you like what you see here, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button below. If you know anyone that would like this video or my channel, please share this link because every view and every subscriber really helps enable me to keep creating videos for you. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, I share all my latest projects as well as some of the things we have going on in our life. I also have a Facebook group for anyone out there who enjoys crafting and would like to share their projects with others. You can visit my blog where I post lots of things you won't see here on my channel. You can find the links for these in the description below. The first thing that we're going to do for our tree is sand it down because this is a rougher hewn wood. It's not a real smooth wood, and we don't want the paint to leak under our tape any more than it has to. It is a lot better. It's definitely not perfect, but with the quality of wood this is made out of, we are not going to get perfect out of it. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my ivory chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm going to paint the entire tree. Right now that our base coat is dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taping off the front of our Christmas tree. And I'm going to come along the bottom here, and that tape right along the bottom. We want to be sure we have that sealed down pretty well. And then I'm just going to come in with another piece. I'm going to lay it right even with this, along the edge of this tape here. And what this is just a spacer piece for when we apply the next piece of tape. Right, and then we're just going to move this spacer piece up. And we're going to keep moving up the Christmas tree, making stripes just like this. Now that I have all the tape placed, I'm going to go back in with my Waverly chalk paint and celery, and we are going to paint in between all the tape lines. Now I'm just going in with some hazelnut chalk paint, and I'm painting the trunk of the tree as well as the base. Alright, now that we have our green stripes painted, we are going to go ahead and pull off our tape. Now that I've removed all the horizontally placed painter's tape, we're going to go back in and place our tape vertically down the tree, but I want to go in and measure for the center point on the bottom here, just to be sure I have it placed, just to make sure I have the center point of the tree. And I'm going to mark this, just give it a light marking out right there so I have a reference running down the tree. And I'm just going to place my tape. And get those kind of trying to line up where I've placed those marks. And I don't know if you can see them through the tape. I can kind of see them a little bit. Alright, that looks good. And then we're just going to bring this straight up so that we have the center of our tape running right down our tree. Alright, we're going to be sure we have that secured down. And then again, we are just going to use a piece of reference tape, just a spacer.
Jolly old Saint Nicholas, lean your ear this way. Don't you tell a single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now are you, dear old man? Whisper what you bring to me. Tell me if you can. When the clock is striking 12, when I'm fast asleep, down the chimney broad and black, with your pack you'll creep. All the stockings you will find hanging in a row. Mine will be the shortest one, you'll be sure to know. Johnny wants a pair of skates, Susie wants a sled, Nellie wants a storybook, one she hasn't read. Now I think I'll leave to you what to give a rest. Choose for me, dear Santa Claus, what you think is best.
Now, somewhere along the line, I lost the footage of me actually painting this, but I did paint the first set of vertical stripes in my Waverly chalk paint in the moss green color. Alright, now can you guess what the next step for this will be? If you guessed more tape, you're right. Because if there's one thing a Buffalo Plaid project is, it is heavy on the tape. Now what we are going to do is we are going to go back over our stripes again, but where we put our last layer of tape, we are now going and doing horizontal stripes again across the width of our tree, which I hope I don't confuse you. I have my tree turned sideways so you can see it. So actually up and down on the tree or on the video is horizontal on the tree, if that makes sense. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to go back in and start taping off the areas of the tree. And I'm pretty sure you can see my paint lines, my tape lines there from earlier. Right, we're going to go. Alright, and now that we have that next layer of tape placed, what we're going to do is we are going to mix some of our Waverly Moss Green and we are going to mix that with just a little bit of black to get this last layer just a little bit darker. And I don't want to use too much black. I don't want this coming out too dark. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to start bringing this over and mixing it in. Add maybe just a little more moss green. Looks like I brought over a little bit more black than I wanted to. It's looking pretty gray. We are just going to start painting this on in between our painter's tape again. I actually left that a little bit streaky. I'm okay with that because we're going for a real rustic look. Okay, and we're going to do just the one layer of that. We're going to let that sit and dry. And then we are going to move on to our next step. And you will see what that is as soon as I come back. Now that the paint is dry, what I'm going to do is attach these Dollar Tree lights. And what we are going to do to get these attached is I am actually going to mark off 10 areas on the tree where I want the lights to come through, and I'm going to drill holes because the lights are going to come up the boards from the back. Now if you don't have a drill, you can try to attach them through the slats in the tree. It's absolutely not a make or break step if you don't want to drill, but I love the way it looks, just the lights coming up through the boards. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a permanent marker and I'm going to mark 10 places down the tree where I think that the lights should come through. Right? And I want to come down about here for the first one. I want one close to the top, and then we are just going to kind of zigzag down through the tree, making sure we have 10 places that our lights will shine through. Alright, now that I have all 10 places marked where I want to drill through the tree, I am going to go ahead and grab my drill and I'm going to start making those holes right through the tape. And the reason I'm going through the tape is that I want to alleviate as much splintering in the wood as I can. And you always want to start drilling through the front when you are drilling through a project that's already been painted, or just that you want the least amount of splintering, because the worst splintering will be on the back side where the drill actually comes through. Right, now for the fun part. We're actually done with the drilling and the taping and the painting, so now we get to remove all this tape and see how this buffalo plaid actually turns out. I absolutely love this part because up until you get to remove the tape, you're just kind of guessing how this project is going to finish up. Now I'm going to go back in with some sandpaper and I'm just going to scuff up my tree and help it look a little bit more aged. And I just love this shabby weathered look that this gives it in the end. So I'm going to finish scuffing up the tree and the trunk and we'll be ready to install the lights. Right now I have all my sides painted and touched up, and as you can see they have that rustic look as well. I also went over onto the back and sanded smooth the holes from the drill. Now one thing you want to keep in mind when you're drilling something, the back side of what you drill is going to be a little bit splintered, and it's not going to look as pretty as the side the drill went down on. So you always want to be sure, if you've already painted something like we did on this, which ideally we would have drilled first, but I forgot. But you want to be sure that you drill through from the front side so that that is the neater side. And any marks you have, like these little areas that have splintered away, are on the back side. Alright, but now what we're going to do is we're going to take our lights and we are going to go ahead and push them through each of the holes toward the front. Now these I've used in another project. They have a little bit of blue paint on them, but that just comes right off and it won't really show in the finished product anyway. So let me just go ahead and pull that off. And just go down to this one. As you can see, I'm just moving those down through each of the holes. All right, and then this part we're going to stick just up here. Now this is just not secured in yet, so what I'm going to do to secure it in is I'm going to use some hot glue. Now I have my glue gun set for low temp. This is not going to hurt the wiring, and I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to hold each of the lights in. And I think to do that I'm going to lay this back on my board because I want to be sure the lights are flush with the front of my project. So let me get this raised up just enough so that when I hot glue these lights on, they are not sticking out past the front because the base was holding the bottom up at an angle. Right now, I'm also going to take the battery pack and I'm going to glue this on the back, but I'm going to make sure of two things. One, that the side that comes off to replace the batteries is facing the top, and two, that the switch is easy to get to. Right, and the last thing that I want to do is go ahead and take some of these extra wires and make sure that they are held down so they are not sticking out where you can see them from the front of the tree. And to do this, I'm going to use some more hot glue. It's nothing that you really have to worry about because again, I'm using the low temp and these are coated. Alright, now we have everything done. I have it glued down, just in the couple places I need it glued down so that the wires don't pop around toward the front. You can, of course, glue it down more heavily if you don't want the wires sticking up at all in the back, or you can just use some tape and tape them down. Just be sure whatever you do, it's not showing through on your wooden slats here, because you will be able to see it from the front if you put tape over these. Now it's time to go get this set up and see how it looks. Here are the finished trees. As you can see, I made two. There was one I used a slightly wider tape on. It's the black, white, and gray buffalo check, which I used some blue lights in. I really liked the way that one came out. And then I did the one I filmed, which was the green buffalo check, and where I used the narrower tape on it and the white lights. And I also did a little bit more texturing. If you liked this video, please be sure to hit that like button as well as share it with friends who may also enjoy it. If you like my channel, hit that subscribe button, and when the notification bell pops up, be sure you hit that as well so you never miss a video. And, as always, have a great day and stay crafty.